Hello, and welcome to this overview of social class difference in historical romance, where the lady outranks the gentleman. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot. And you're watching Random Olive Reads. In historical romance, it's pretty much socially expected to get married within the same class to ensure good breeding and maintain the social status of everyone involved. It's especially important for ladies to marry either at or above their level, mostly to avoid any social climbers or fortune hunters, and it is particularly scandalous for ladies to marry below their station. Someone to Hold by Mary Balogh is book 2 of the Westcott series. Camille Westcott has been the perfect proper snooty earl's daughter and probably suffered the biggest shock when she finds out that her parents were not legally married and she is now considered illegitimate. She has suffered a broken betrothal, fled London, and very loudly expressed her dislike for her new half sister Anna. In an effort to learn more about herself and her sister, she starts to teach at the orphanage where Anna grew up. Joel is a portrait painter who grew up with Anna, was her best friend, and had proposed marriage many years ago. He dislikes Camille on sight because of her pettiness towards Anna and her severe and haughty appearance. However, as the two spend more time together at the orphanage and as he's commissioned by her grandmother to paint her portrait, they start to understand each other and confide in each other. It's a total opposites attract situation, with Camille being the one who needs to adapt to her new station in life. The Duchess and the Wolf by Lydia Drake is book 1 of the Debutantes of London series. Susanna is nearly engaged to a duke, but is having misgivings about it and would rather travel and see the world. While she's out with her friend at a gambling den, she happens to play the piano in a seemingly empty room. Rafe, the owner of the club, stumbles upon her there and is encouraged to hire her to bring more sophisticated patrons to the club. He offers her a large sum of money in exchange for her playing at the club. While Susanna declines at first, she realizes that the money would give her an opportunity to get away from her engagement. Rafe and Susanna attempt to keep their relationship professional, but Rafe is in awe of her playing, and Susanna sees glimpses of Rafe's kindness towards his employees. It's a total social mismatch here, but Susanna really wants to go after what she wants. Her Adventures in Temptation by Megan Frampton is book 3 of the School for Scoundrel series. Myrtle is the outspoken, awkward, mathematically inclined sister of a viscount who wants to avoid marriage and start her own financial consulting agency. When the painter her brother hired is asked to leave a house party, Myrtle takes the opportunity to hitch a ride to London with him. Simeon is an illegitimate orphan who was adopted by an independent female painter and basically taught to prioritize his art above everything else. However, the soft hearted Simeon seems to give away his money to the needy at every turn and has none of it himself, causing him to take on portrait commissions he doesn't really like and to take Myrtle's money to help her to go to London. As these two spend more time together, it's clear they have an opposites attract sort of chemistry. Somehow, Myrtle gets caught by her brother and then forced to assist in her niece's debut, but she has no social charm or graces, so she recruits her only friend in town, Simeon, to assist. They end up in a fake engagement to preserve everyone's reputation, but still fall in love with each other despite wanting so much to hold on to their independence. Marry Me by Midnight by Felicia Grossman is book 1 of the Once Upon the East End series. Isabel needs to marry quickly to prevent her late father's business partner from pushing her out of the business. She and her grandmother set up a series of festivals where she invites all eligible suitors to attend and plans to declare her betrothed before midnight of the third festival. A chance meeting with the synagogue custodian Aaron intrigues Isabel, but since he's not actually a suitable candidate, she hires him to help investigate actual contenders for her hand. Isabel is stubborn and cold for the most part, seeking a business partner in her future husband, while Aaron is self deprecating and kind. Even though they eventually give in to their attractions, Isabel is adamant that she must secure her father's legacy rather than pursue her own happiness. She is annoyingly stubborn and consistently breaks Aaron's heart, But luckily, Aaron has his own fairy godmother on his side. The Spinster and Mr. Scott is book one of the Highland Knights series. Lady Grace, a daughter of an earl and a spinster, has escorted her sister Claire to the battlefield to search for Claire's husband. While there, Grace has made herself useful by caring for the wounded soldiers. She meets Duncan, one of her brother in law's sergeants, and forms a connection with him. Despite the social class differences between them, they converse easily and quickly fall in love. This was a relatively quick story to read, with things progressing pretty predictably until we head into treacherous territory with a disapproving father and an insurgent group the men are fighting against. The Last Wicked Scoundrel by Lorraine Heath is book 5 of the Scoundrels of St. James series. Widowed Duchess Winnie thinks she might be going mad because she keeps losing track of her items and catching glimpses of her late husband's scent around the house. When she confides this information to William, the physician who saved her life many years ago, he rallies his friends to protect her. Turns out her husband might not be so dead after all, since the scoundrels sent him away earlier in the series. Winnie and William have developed a long-standing attraction for each other over the years, and they finally make a move towards a physical relationship, even if William knows that he can't marry someone so far above his station. This one was a pretty quick and short novella and kind of a tie-up of the rest of the series. Courting Scandal by Allie Hudson is book one of the Most Imprudent Matches series. Michael is the illegitimate son of a viscount who owns a gambling hell with a shaky relationship with his late father's family. In an attempt to bring the brothers together, the new viscountess, Michael's sister-in-law, invites Michael to weekly family dinners. Meanwhile, in a seemingly separate part of town, Juliet is being forced by her cruel and overbearing father to marry a duke who she does not know at all. Juliet soon learns that her father owes a huge gambling debt to a gambling hell and is receiving payment from the duke in exchange for Juliet's hand in marriage. She overhears Michael, the gambling hell owner, confront her father over the matter, and it helps put all of her father's odd behavior into perspective. Somehow, both Michael and Juliet cross paths again as they're both invited to the same country house party for the next couple of months. Juliet's best friend turns out to be Michael's sister in law, and although this isn't a matchmaking scheme, Juliet and Michael fall in love anyway. However, Juliet's still engaged, and Michael believes he's not good enough for her, so there's still a little bit of drama to overcome before they can actually be together for good. The Fake February Rake by Charlie Lane is book 2 of the Rake Review series. Hades is a respectable doctor in London until his greatcoat goes missing and is sighted on a man escorting women away at nighttime. This all gets reported in the gossip columns, ruining Hades' reputation and causing his patients to seek medical care somewhere else. He's out to confront the coat thief and reclaim his coat, and finds Lady Ophelia wearing it to escort women away from their abusive situations. They argue a bit, and he eventually reports her actions to her father, who then suggests that they get married to restore the good doctor's reputation. Ophelia refuses at first since she's totally untrusting of men, but he decides he'll convince her to come around. As they spend more time together, she starts to see that Hades is not at all like the other men in her acquaintance, and she starts to admire him. In turn, he supports her acts in rescuing women from horrible conditions and admires her even more because of it. A Rose Blooms in Brooklyn by Jenny B. Moore is book 3 of the Flowers Sister series. The beautiful and spoiled Rose has not had a success of her many seasons in London, and now she faces a pending engagement to a man she doesn't love, or to serve as a companion to an elderly relation. She tells her parents she's bound for Boston to reconcile with her twin sister, but she's really headed to New York City to enjoy the high society her cousin lives in. She's shocked to learn that her cousin is actually living in Brooklyn, estranged from her family, and working to support herself. Rose is completely out of her element and has to adapt to very unfamiliar surroundings. Ben is a widower and political activist who owns the building where Rose has landed and scoffs at Rose's naivete. He's also uncomfortably attracted to her, even though his heart is all sorts of closed off after the death of his wife in childbirth. The romance between Rose and Ben involves a lot of push and pull, with Rose realizing that she's been completely sheltered all her life, and with Ben learning to embrace life and joy again. One Night to Remember by Erica Ridley is book 5 of the Wicked Dukes Club series. Lady Felicity, who is the sister of a duke who grew up in poverty and is looking for a wealthy, entitled husband so she'll find financial security plus have money to start a charity, is the main character of the story. Secretly, she's a mechanic who loves to fix up her brother's carriages. Her brother enters a curricle race and has tasked local blacksmith Giles with riding in the race and working with Felicity to make sure the vehicle is in the best racing condition. Giles is gruff at first with having to work with a partner, but very quickly becomes impressed with Felicity's skill. These two are obviously a perfect match for each other. Felicity just needs to get over her desire to wed a wealthy, entitled man for her own security. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found a book or two to add to your TBR. Links to all of these books are in the description box. A like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.